I think so. Yeah. Because what time is it?
It is 8:35.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, yay. People are still joining us. Okay. Hey, friends. This is Kayla Troutman. Thank you so much for tuning in. It is June 5th, 2017. It's our 8:30 dual org. So two leaders, two awesome organizations sharing with you just from the top of the company tips that are going to make your businesses stronger this summer. If you're in Uplift org or my org, we are calling this our Run Summer Run because we have lots of people running for promotions and big goals and big checks. And I am willing to bet that Carissa's org is feeling the same way, that with some of the recent changes in Wild Tree, it makes the most sense for those of you that want to be here to be making the most money and coming out ahead with all of the new changes that were made, right? So that's really what we're going to share tonight. So if you're just joining us, if you're not talking, if you can mute yourself at all points, and then if you want to share something, you can just unmute yourself and share it. But if everybody can stay muted for the bulk of the call, there will be a question and answer time, I promise. So I'm going to introduce Carissa to get us started tonight. So you probably know one of us. If you don't know Carissa, she's pretty amazing. Her name, when I used to see it, when I first met Carissa, I feel like the first time I met her was in Costa Rica on my first incentive trip. She was at the bar, and so were my husband and I. And I'll never forget it because we had just made a live video, and I said in the video, so those of you in Wild Tree that saw my video said, "Hey, everybody, Nate and I are in Jamaica," but we were actually in Costa Rica. I was just really intoxicated from breastfeeding and drinking all this booze. And then I walked up to the bar shortly after we ended the video, and there was this nice woman named Carissa, and she said, even, "I think I know, like, you're from my area." And I was like, "I don't know who you are." Well, little did I know that I would be very grateful for that interaction because we've become great friends, and she helps grow my business, and I think she's going to grow all of your businesses tonight as well. So I'm thankful for her. Okay, so Carissa is a mom. She's been with Wild Tree 6 years, but she really has worked it the last 3. She's a mom of 4, 3 boys, and her newest little addition, Nora, who's 2 months. Oh, there's Nora. Okay, hold it there for a second so everybody can see her. That's Nora. That's her only girl. So tribe of 3 boys, Nora, and so 4 kiddos. She works her business in her playroom. She has a desk, and when you see her make videos and stuff, it's like kids artwork on the back wall of her office and like a dartboard. So like really, I guess what I'm saying is I don't really want to hear excuses because if you don't have an office like I do, I mean, SHIT out of luck, but you're going to be just fine because this girl is blowing the charts off a Wild Tree and she works in a playroom, literally. So I say that in a loving way, Carissa. You know, I'm not dissing on your space. And her husband, how long have you been married? That I didn't ask you.
Good question. 7 years this
Okay.
year.
Oh, almost the same as us. Okay. We'll be married 8 years coming up. But her husband works a really ever-changing, kind of interesting, I wanted to say crappy schedule. I don't know if that's how she described it,
Mhm.
but it's changing. So we really became great friends because we share that in common. So as we got to know each other, not only do we have huge goals for our businesses, but we also want to be there for our kiddos. And we have husbands that are not here a lot of times. So I can vent to her like I did this last weekend and say, "Carissa, I feel like I've single mommed for an entire week. Like Nate has been not here for a bath, not here for a single meal. He loves Macaulay, of course, but it doesn't change the fact that I'm doing it all." And she can say, "Yeah, suck it up, buttercup, get back in that office and get the work." Okay, that's not exactly what she says, but she does encourage me to get my work done. So with that being said, Chris is amazing. You're going to learn a ton from her, and she's going to be talking tonight about sales this summer. So take it away, Miss Carissa. I'm going to mute myself in between.
Okay. Well, and feel free to chime in because I know we had a little conversation about what we both wanted to hit on. So thank you very much, Kayla, for that. And you, that she took the words out of my mouth when I was going to introduce Kayla too about the conversation we had at the bar. We can kind of talk a little bit about that when I introduce you. So yes, I am been with Wild Tree for 6 years and really started working my business 3 years ago when I was pregnant with our third and working a corporate America job. And finally, like a light bulb went off, and I thought, why the heck am I punching a clock? Why am I sending my kids off to have someone else take care of them? Why am I not running with Wild Tree? Everybody eats every single day, so why am I not doing this? So 3 years ago in 2013, I decided I'm going to do this. I'm going to promote. I'm going to make income to pay for my mom band because, hey, when you hit that three kiddo mark, you got to get a mom band. So I'm going to make money for that. And I promoted in 2 months, and I haven't demoted since. I've been strong sales every single month, consistent, and I haven't looked back. I don't ever want to go back to corporate America ever again. So a lot of people, Kayla, I know included, would ask me like, what are you doing? Why are you leaving your house like 15 times a month? What is going on? Like, how can you have $4,000, $5,000 in sales every single month? Like, I don't understand. Just enlighten me a little bit.
Okay,
So then,
you're not doing $4,000 in sales a month. She's doing 6 or 7 or 8 or 9, or I don't even know. That's what she's doing in sales a month, for the record. Just want to put that in perspective. Okay, there we go.
she's exaggerating. But so that's what kind of brought on her and I kind of talking, because then I look at Kayla and I see she's doing this with recruiting, and she's booming. All of you in her org are, recruiting her, like, you're exploding. So we kind of thought, hey, let's come together and do this. So I'm going to kind of go over a little bit about what I do each month to help with continue my sales, and why my sales are that high every month. I don't strive to be number one on the leaderboard. I don't strive to have $8,000 in sales. Like, that's not my goal at all. My goal is that I'm passionate about Wild Tree. I believe in our product. I'm a product of our product. I share with excitement, and I share with helping and having a service heart, and really trying to reach as many people as I can every day. Obviously, I do sleep, and I do take care of my kids, and we do have family time. So I'll kind of go over what it looks like. So obviously, success does not happen overnight. It didn't happen overnight for me. It takes hard work and consistency, but you have to commit yourself to do the work. You have to have that commitment up front that you are going to do the work. Now, your work might not look like my work. So I always suggest people to set a goal. So set a goal, what you want your monthly, how many times can you leave your house a month? How many times,
Hello?
Did we lose them?
You're back now. Was it on your end or on?
I don't know. I chimed in for the Zoom and I lost the two important people that we were supposed to be listening to.
I think they logged out and they're gonna log back on. Just need to give them a minute.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, can you, okay. I don't know what's going on.
Hey, what happened to Carissa?
I don't know. Can you hear Kayla though? You can see my lips moving. I can see that.
I can hear you. I think she had troubles one other time too. She's probably just logging off and logging back on.
Okay, I think it was her phone that jammed up, because I just had mine.
I got kicked off. I'm sorry.
Let the recording go. She's saying you're good. You're good. Take it back away. You're good.
I swear, it always happens when I'm like right in the middle of something.
Yeah, you're fine.
So I don't know where I got kicked off. All of a sudden, I saw all of your faces froze at me, and I'm like, something bad is happening. So I don't know what part I got kicked off. So I'm just gonna start right from where I thought I left off.
You stopped with setting goals.
Okay. Yes. Yep. Thanks, Don. So set a goal for yourself. What do you want your summer to look like? What do you want your June, July, August to look like? Everyone says summer's a hard time, but it doesn't have to. If you put that thought in your head, you're going to have a hard summer. So what does your personal goal look like? You want 8 parties a month? You want 4 parties a month? You want 6? So set a goal, write it down, put it somewhere. I'll share with you what my goal is. My goal has always been 8 parties a month. Why is it 8? Well, I do 8 parties a month because, let's be honest, it keeps my sanity. So I stay home now with my kids. And if I can leave my house twice a week, I'm a better mom for it, because I have that work-life balance with my kids, and then obviously to be with adults and drink wine and have interaction. That 8 parties a month also helps me continue to grow my business each month. So it's getting me in front of people every month, and it's continuing to grow my business moving forward. And also it is, I know what my monthly income is going to be, because now it started off with a $500 car payment, and now it's grown into, I want to pay mortgage, I want to save for my kids' college and things like that. So I know if I hold 8 parties a month, I'm going to have X amount in income every month. So it always starts with a full calendar, and I'm sure you've heard this many times before, but you have to have that consistent mindset of what your calendar is going to look like and work towards filling those dates. Once you have that full calendar, so how do you increase sales? How do you keep your sales in line with where your goals are? So first thing is host coaching. You have to host coach. I had a light bulb at a kickoff a couple years ago, because I didn't even know about host coaching. I'm sure Kayla talks enough about host coaching, but I didn't even know that was something we had to do, was host coach. So when I figured out, like, oh, I need to keep my host engaged, I need to keep her excited. I can't just set up a Facebook event or a red stamp and be like, okay, have fun, because everyone loves, why wouldn't people want Wild Tree? I love Wild Tree. Everyone else should love Wild Tree. So you can't just like throw an event and just kind of cross your fingers and hope for the best. You got to have, and I'm not going to get into host coaching because of time's sake, but you got to have kind of a method to your madness on how you're going to keep your host engaged, how you're going to keep her excited, and how you're going to keep that excitement going to then pour into her guests that she's inviting. Because I know we kind of always say we're having a Wild Tree party. It doesn't matter if you have 8 workshop guests or 3 workshop guests. We're just trying to help people. However, just because if you're having 3 workshop guests doesn't mean she can't still have 8 people come and taste. So for my personal experience, if I have a small workshop, I'm still host coaching that host after the fact of placing those workshop orders. I'm still host coaching her all the way up until the minute the party is like, who's coming? We bring in friends, because I want it to make it worth my time leaving my family, my kids and my husband that I don't see very often, my husband that is. I want to make it worth my time. You're going to make it worth your time being out of your home, more money in your pocket, and also growth in your business. So kind of think that, keep that in mind too. Just, I know sometimes we think, oh, we got this party on Saturday and 4 people are coming, that's it, just throw in the towel. You got to kind of keep that consistency going with reaching out to her, reaching out to people that aren't invited, or that say that they can't go. Sometimes they comment they can't go. I reach out to them and I kind of give them some options on how they can kind of be involved, whether it's placing an order, getting a bundle to make the meals on their own, or hosting. And I've gotten some people, and I don't know if she's on here, but there's been kind of a weird effect of a person that said, I can't make it. I'm super interested, maybe next time. And I reached out to her. She ended up booking a party. Then 2 other people booked party. And then one of the ladies that I think she might be on here actually signed up. So, I mean, if you're, just kind of don't shut the door. Just keep that, keep reaching out, whether people can attend or can attend. I'm kind of going off on a tangent there, but just know that when people say, oh, I really wish I could make it, that's kind of an open door for you to kind of slide in and say, hey, but there's other ways that you can be involved. Let me help you, because they still have to eat dinner, even if they can't be at the party. So that's been with additional sales. So most of my parties average probably around 8 to 10 people. I know Kayla had asked, like, what's the lowest party you've had? My party average, like low end, is usually around 300, 350, which, I mean, now we want it to be 350. And I really think it holds true to me being consistent with my host and having her reach the total amount of people being there, and not just kind of leaving it at the door like, well, she has 3 people, we'll just roll with 3 people and it's just going to be fine. And then also the follow-up with people that can't make it. Can they order? People that, are interested in you following up with them, because if they're collecting $200 in outside orders plus your workshop party order, I mean, you're walking in there with $500 already. And then people that are coming to sample, usually you're going to sell another $200. So that's kind of how it kind of works with, for me, lately. So like one party, I'm leaving with $700 total. And I know too, I sometimes tell a lot of my team, if a host is kind of you're like trying to get her to, like, you want to entice her to kind of to get more people, maybe saying, hey, if you have 12 people at your party, I'll throw in a free beer bread for you. If you have 12 people at your party, I'll pay for shipping for you, or you'll get half price anything out of the catalog. And that's kind of personal preference, but that does help too, because then it gets them more excited to reach out to more people to keep inviting. So the other thing too, being in front of more people, you're building relationships, and you're building trust with these people as well, because you are trying to help them and not just be another salesperson, which then will lead to continued bookings and then reorders. So I know another thing I get asked is, do you have reorders a month? And each month I probably have about 500 or so reorders. So I just had a reorder from one person last night, and it was a $270 order. So, but I've built a relationship with her through follow-up, through being just true to my services and helping others and keeping that connection. So sometimes we kind of fall into that, oh, well, they're at that one party and they did meals and now they're fine, so I won't talk to them anymore, or I won't see how their meals are doing, or I won't, they were at a tasting, they only bought a taco seasoning, so I'm not going to follow up with them because why would they want any more? So like having that closed mindset kind of puts up a wall. And if you're not going to take care of them and kind of reach out to them and show them that you care, they're going to find someone else that will. Because I've heard a few times from a lot of others that, I'm so happy you followed up with me, because the last person that I went to a party with, I told her I wanted to book a party and she never got back to me. Or I told her I wanted to place an order when grapeseed oil was on sale and she never emailed me. Like, I love the fact that you'll personally reach out to me and touch me. That sounds bad, but you know what I mean. Will reach out to me and see and actually genuinely care how I'm doing, how my meals are. How many times do you buy a 31 bag? Does anyone ever call you and ask you how your bag is? Probably not. They're just like, well, there's a sale. So just kind of keep that in the back of your mind too, as you're in front of people at parties, online, and also doing your follow-up. But so reorders, okay, so I talked about reorders, and then so a lot of people ask, like, how do you get reorders too? Social media is huge. So I just had Nora in April, and I worked my entire Wild Tree business from my couch, basically. I had two parties that month that I left my house. The rest was online. And I'm not doing this to toot my own horn or brag or anything, but I'm just letting you know that by being consistent, by doing the work, by committing to yourself and what you want for you and your family, that you can make this happen. You can make this happen for you. I had $6,000 in sales in April from my couch, except for the 2 times I left, and I recruited 2 people in April as well. So now, like I said from the beginning, this doesn't happen overnight. Like tomorrow, it's not gonna be like, ooh, you're gonna have reorders and all this. But I'm continually building relationships with people as I meet them and as I'm reaching out to them and really caring about people and what they need and what dinner time looks like to them, what food allergy do they have, all those things. So being online, being social media is huge right now. I'm sure you've heard a lot about what's coming down the pipeline with the app and Wild Tree and social media. Being positive on social media, because people are attracted to positive people. Obviously, there's so much negativity in the world. They don't want to read something else that's just another, like, let me down. Being positive on Facebook, excited, not like, I always tell people, like, don't look like you have a big D on your forehead, like desperate, like, oh, I need to book a part, being very, being genuine. So I'm sure most of you have Facebook groups or recipe clubs or something like that. In that recipe, we just did a team meeting on this a month ago about how to use social media to your leverage and not kind of hurt you. because social media can hurt you too. If you're only in your Facebook page commenting on how you need a party, how someone has to join your team, I need a party, join my team, people are going to be leaving left and right. So if you can kind of keep that positive energy in there, sharing tips on how to use their product, sharing your meals, because people will relate to you, and that shows that you are being authentic, is huge. I run promos and things like that too sometimes in my page, but I don't do it often. But when I do it, a lot of people usually jump on board and will reorder that way too. Another way I get reorders is I do a personal customer email, and I shared a couple with Kayla too. So if
Carissa, this is like your 2-minute warning because we're going way over on time.
Okay. But I do a customer email too, a monthly customer email, and Kayla can share that with you too. But I get a good chunk of reorders from that as well. So I just let people know what's going on. Those that maybe don't pay attention to social media, or they just like the email route. I send, this is what's happening. These are events happening at my house. These are specials going on, and just kind of doing that extra personal touch. I don't rely just on the Perfect Blend newsletter. And I've also gotten bookings from that too. So that kind of fills your monthly goals for how many parties you want to book each month. And like Kayla, her and I are talkers, if you haven't noticed. So I'm gonna kind of cut off, because I could go off like all different ways on like different things, ideas and stuff like that. But I'm gonna let Kayla.
Well, what we can do too, you guys, is when this ends, we'll go the 40 minutes. I'll do my portion, and then if it kicks us out, everybody can just re-click on the same link, and we can do question and answer there. We just won't record it. So let's do the second portion here. Yeah. But finish. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, that's okay, because I don't know where everybody's at. I know where my team's at, but I don't know where Kayla's org is at. So I don't want to throw all these things at you, and then you're like, what the hell is this crazy person talking about? So we want to make sure there's a good chunk of Q&A at the end, because so that you can kind of ask questions and kind of see what other things that I might do for each month. And then, so now Kayla is going to be talking. So we met in Costa Rica. I didn't know she was drunk when I met her, but I know as soon as after we had this conversation, because it was my husband standing at the bar and her husband, Nate, standing at the bar, and she was talking about her last trip to Costa Rica, and she was going on and on and on. And I was like, oh, we walked away. I'm like, whoa, that lady can talk, I'm like, I bet you we're going to be pretty good friends. And then after that, we just kind of connected. I've seen her name on Facebook once in a while. We kind of connected and did a little, helped each other out a little bit. And then now, as of late, really grown fond of each other and have a great friendship. And for those that don't know her, she's very funny too. Like, I laugh when I see some of her live videos. Like, my husband's like, what are you watching? So when she talks about the video, her phone tipping over, I've seen that before. So it makes me chuckle. But she is a mother she's married to Nate for almost 8 years. And then she has Macaulay, who's 18 months old.
Yep.
Right?
Yep. This week. Yep.
She's going to have more
Next
babies.
Week.
I might tell you not, but she's going to have more babies. And she's just promoted to director. So shout out to her and her organization. That's freaking awesome. And she rocks at everything she does. So I'm super excited for her to share with you on recruiting, because to grow your business, you need to grow a team to make income. So take it over.
Okay, so I'm going to go really fast. I'm going to talk really fast. So get your notebook and pen ready, and we'll come back into this link and ask questions when we're done, okay? So the number one thing that people lack in this industry is belief that you can make real money here. Now, real money to you and me is different. I want to make $500,000 a year. I'm not afraid to say that. Everyone in my org knows that's my goal. $474,000 a year is my goal right now. Like, that's what I'm striving to make for income. So I believe I can make that. There isn't a doubt in my mind. I don't have the exact timeline. That's what I'm trying to narrow down, and the activities it takes. But Carissa's 100% right. It's follow-up. It's meeting people. It's forming relationships. It's doing events. Current day, a lot of live events. Hopefully in the future, we'll be doing much more of a mix of social media and live. But the reality is there's work to be done every day, right? But if you do the work, the number one place people fail is belief. And someone on this call, I'm not going to call them out, but they've been with me, one of the longest on my team, I just had this like moment this week where they get it. Like they really get it. You know who you are, friend. They get it that they can make a difference in their life. Like they can truly have impact in the world, change their family's finances, stop being a victim to either corporate America or poverty or debt or whatever it is. Like you don't have to do that. So number one, you have got to get I say a lot of swear words. That's really a downfall. I'm going to work on that. You have to get your stuff in line to believe that you can do it. Belief. Why does this matter? Because even if your goal is to make $500 a month, you have to show people it's real and it can happen and that there's much more potential here than that because no one's going to join you for $50 a month. So if you don't have belief that this is like an industry you want to be in, you literally are not going to make it. Sorry to tell you that. I'm just going to be blunt because that's the difference. The second piece is if you go into your parties and you go to sell Wild Tree, that's good, but you're only going to be the same you are right now today, 2 years from now. You're going to be completely stagnant. I leave the house and I go there to find my next team leader. Does that make sense? Shake your head if you understand why. Because here's my best tip of the night. Write this down. Are you ready? This is like quote worthy. Put this on your mirror with a dry erase marker. Did you know you can do that and it'll erase and it's pretty cool? Okay. People who want to build wealth in network marketing lead with the income opportunity, meaning the real way to make wealth in Wild Tree is to believe in what we have and to sell it to others. And I hope my org's on here, so I hope they'll tell you this is true. I 152% believe in what we have. My wall says, and you can go to my social media wall tonight because I posted a picture of me earlier with this in the background. It says, I Wild Tree, so I never get too busy making a living that I forget to make a life. And damn it, that's what Wild Tree has given me in the last year. So if you don't get choked up like I do every time you think about it, figure out what is standing in your way because your vision is just not big enough. And until you get a big vision, you're not going to recruit like I do. You're not going to recruit numbers because I'm just going to be honest with you. There's several of you on this call that I would not have joined your team because I don't think you would have asked me or told me what was here. Now I think you would have, many of you, but I'm just going to be real with you. I see many of you that I know. I think you would have mentioned it as a sidebar, as a side note after you're done talking about the sales and the products and the hostess credits. And by then I'm already going to be a hostess because all you have to really do is mention free. And I'm going to sign up to be a hostess. I'm a great hostess most of the time. But you really gotta show me what's in it for me. And many of you probably are just not doing that. So there's my best tip. Wealth comes from being willing to sell the business opportunity, share the business opportunity. What are your fears? Write them down. We don't have time to do open discussion tonight, but I seriously want you to write this down. This is going to help you. Why are you afraid to talk about the business? What is holding you back? If you're in my organization, why do you not use Discover Wild Tree twice a month? Why do you not have people in there every single time? Why do you not say, hey, I've got this recruit lead, Kayla, would you do a 3-way call? Her biggest fear is time management. Like I know Carisa would do the same thing. Like what is holding you back from doing that? What is holding you back from just reaching out to your chicken list, we call it, the top 10 people you'd love to have in your business and just asking them, saying, I've been too chicken to ask you, but the truth is I've been thinking about you for 2 years. Why are you not on my team? Like just write those down. What are your fears? Because my question to you would be like, why not share the opportunity? I go to the same parties you guys do. I have the same hostesses who want to cancel 3 hours before the party. I have the same parties where the hostess drank way too much before the party, and that's a big hot mess. I have, Jenny's laughing. I have the same parties that are huge, right? We actually get 15 people in a room and it's crazy and it's fun. And I have it all. I have all the same blessings and all the same struggles you guys have. The difference is I walk out the door and my husband has said to me since way back in the day when I did direct sales once before, I'm going to find a new recruit every month. Now we say team leader, but we're going to find a new recruit every night, I'm going to book 3 parties and I'm going to have $500 to $1,000 in sales. Like that's just the min in my world. And no, it doesn't always happen, but you guys, like why shoot for the stars and land in the stars or below? Why not go big? Like that's my question for you. So make sure you write that down. I literally say at my parties, and Chris and I talked about this, I must have thought this was important, but I have the conviction and the confidence enough that I look at every crowd I stand in front of and I tell them right in the beginning that I'm going to talk about me for just a couple minutes and I'll come back to more about me later and the business opportunity. But before they leave, I'm going to grab it because I think it's a good visual. Hold on. I tell them that before they leave, they're going to take home a copy of my story. And this is how confident I am in myself. So I give them my story, wherever it is. And then I tell them when they can't stop thinking about Wild Tree, when they get home that night, I want them to lay in bed because they're all going to be on their phones playing on Facebook and everyone in the room giggles. And I tell them to watch my YouTube video. You guys, there's recorded webinars from Sonara. There's phone calls they can listen to. There's tons of tools. Pick something you feel comfortable with, but get them on it. Do you know what my hit rate is on that? It's huge. People are just curious how I could be that confident in my direct sales business that I would tell them to go home, lay in bed and watch a video. People watch it and I get messages constantly like, oh my gosh, your story was so inspirational. Like, I'm not sure I'm really interested in direct sales, but thanks for sharing. Like, all of that. It's exposure. The other thing I ask them at my parties when I'm nearing the end, I remind them that the most important thing I have for them tonight is my story, because it really gives them the opportunity to join the business. And then I say the most famous words. You might want to write this down, because if you can grow the confidence to say this at your parties, you will recruit double what you're recruiting right now. If you're recruiting 0, it's going to be at least 2 a month. I literally look at my crowds and I say, why wouldn't you want to be on my team? Give me a good reason why you wouldn't want to check out this opportunity. Because if I came into pretend you don't know Wild Tree and I came to a party tonight, this was an online party, and I showcased my abilities to you, like I talked to you about products, I talked to you about the hostess program, and I said that to you, wouldn't most of you at least be curious how my at-home business could be that successful? I would go to bet all of you would at least say, okay, put me in that Discover Wild Tree thing you guys do every other week, which is, for those of you that don't know, it's just an information thing we do every other week to give interested leads the opportunity to learn more. So if you can't tell, I'm full of confidence and I'm full of belief. Now, it doesn't come overnight, but I was reading a book yesterday, which if you're coming to conference, you should be reading it. It's called Take the Stairs. It's written by the guy that's speaking at conference. It's an amazing book. I'm already almost done with it. I read it basically in 24 hours. But he says in there that we always want to do what feels good, the easy stuff first, and we leave the hard stuff for later. What we don't realize is doing the hard stuff now has the much better feel-good payoff in the long haul. And I will tell you that the day I quit my job, we were not ready for me to quit my job. I quit my job last April 15th, and we weren't supposed to quit I wasn't supposed to quit till November 1st. So I quit very, very far in advance, and I walked in with good faith, resigned, and basically built my Wild Tree business. The difference between me and you is just that I knew in that moment there wasn't an alternative for me other than I was going to have to provide some kind of part-time income until November. And like Carissa said, there's no way in hell I'm ever going back to corporate America. I am not working for somebody else. This industry has so much for you. You have to believe it. So you have to believe it. And then we're going to get kicked off. So everybody come back in because I'll give you a couple more recruiting tips quick, because there's a couple of key things I do at my parties that help. But the biggest thing I do is I'm asking everybody, like, have you ever thought about doing something like this? Are you sure you wouldn't want to give it a shot if I gave you all the tools and promised you that I walk you through a successful start before you even buy your kit? I say words like that all the time. And the other thing is, oh, what was that? That scared me, whoever that was. The other thing is, I don't beg. I don't beg because I don't want people who don't want this. Does that make sense? Everybody shake your head. I want people who want to do Wild Tree. I want all of you. I don't want people who I'm like, please join my team because I need one more 350 this month to hit team leader numbers.